Austin here. Transgender man, FTM, trans man, whatever. Same thing. This is my girlfriend Kristen.
Hi.
She's a cisgender female. She's biologically female. It's Q A time. Woo! Let's see here. We're just gonna go ahead and hop into it because there's so many questions. We might have to do a part 2, but we'll just alternate. I think we should do like the fast questions, like the.
Or you just get on the line.
Alright. I don't want to say this one for last. All right. Maybe we should cross these off after we answer them. Whatever. All right. Let's see here. First question. What made me decide to make this change? Let's see. It wasn't really a decision. Like when you decide, like, am I gonna have a ham sandwich or a peanut butter or jelly sandwich? It wasn't a decision like that. It was more of a discovery, I guess. I had no idea what transgender meant or what it was until my sophomore year in college. I was on Stumbled Upon, and I saw this video of a guy. It started off with a guy, but then it switched over to this timeline of like little girl pictures growing up, and then I could tell like it was more of like a lesbian look because he had cut his hair and all this other stuff, and then it progressed into short video clips of like my voice or his voice at the time. It was like pre-T, 1 month old T. I was like, what is this? So it turned into this video of a guy showing his transition from female to male, and I was like, what is this? Like, I was fascinated. I was obsessed with it right then and there, and I would just Google all different kinds of videos on YouTube and anywhere else I could find, and just figuring out everything I could about, like, how did this guy get from this girl to this guy. And then I realized, like, there was a common pattern between everybody's story and mine, but we all just, like, we all never felt like we were girls. We always did and thought and said stuff that guys did, and that's when I discovered, like this is exactly how I am. Like, I've never felt like I've ever been a girl in my entire life until somebody said my name, or until somebody, like, put me on a team or something, and then it was girls against guys, so I had to be on the girls' team. So I just never acknowledged the fact that I was a girl, ever. I've always just felt like I was just me, like I didn't have a gender whatsoever. But then, right then and there, for the next year after that, I took steps toward, like, finding myself. Yes. So I guess that was the decision, or the discovery, was sophomore year in college.
I don't think it's much of a discovery though, too. Like, I mean, it is, but I mean, a lot of people talk about like the whole nurture versus nature, like, are you born this way? I mean, not to make it like a Lady Gaga thing or anything, but like, you, like, come into yourself, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you finding yourself, like, in more ways than one. Like, not just this one thing that happens to be, like, the biggest thing, though, too. Yeah. So,
You want to do a
look
question?
at it this way. Okay, for me, I guess, how do my parents feel about everything that's going on? Well, for all of you that know me, or know my parents, I'm sure you already have an idea. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, what would you? To be completely honest, I don't really know how they really feel about anything, for that matter. Especially, like, for the two of us. I'm never gonna drag my parents in the dirt for any reason. But, you know, people have their own opinions, and I would never push anything on them the way that I would hope, or continue to hope, that they won't push anything on me or the both of us. So I think the best way to describe it is like, what did I say earlier? If it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Like, if it's in front of them, then it's something that they have to deal with maybe a little bit too soon or a little bit sooner than they would like, other than, like, knowing that something's going on and then it being away from them and taking it at their own pace, I guess. They're very old school, so they're not going to conform or adapt to new things as easily, so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm never there when you guys discuss anything about us, but I have a feeling that they kind of ignore the situation, or they don't acknowledge, like, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know them. I don't know what's in their minds. Like, you don't know what's going on in anybody's mind, so you can't really say, like, how they feel about anything unless they tell you. But I don't think they've ever talked to you about how they felt about it. They just kind of acted it out, like, acting like it's not, let's not deal with this right now kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're more like keep it at arm's length so that they can grasp it and touch it whenever they want to, instead of, like, having it so close to them, like, in their hand, even if they're, like, understanding it, and then they just either accept it or they don't. They just, I don't know. They just don't make a move on it, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alright, let's move on to my next question. Do I have a penis? Sorry for whoever asked me this question, but I mean, if you've known me ever since I was little and you've seen me play volleyball in my tights or basketball or anything, you should have a pretty good idea of whether I have a penis or not. So, next question.
Do
you want to ask one? No, that's a good one.
I understand.
Or the sweetheart one.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Were we high school sweethearts the entire time?
We like to say that we are, just because, like, for me, like, my most profound year would have been, like, my senior year, I guess, because that's really, like, all that matters, because that's all, I mean, that's what got me to this point now. So.
I'm gonna be honest, I was a jerk and a flirt, and I was really shallow in high school, so I didn't even know she existed until our senior year. Like, we had multiple classes together, like freshman, sophomore, junior year. I didn't even know she was alive until our senior year, because she just got hot all of a sudden. Like, she didn't have braces anymore.
God.
Her face was like, you see that girl right there? Like, that's Kristen Bailey. Like, so yeah. I guess you could say we were senior year.
I don't even know why you make my name like a run-on sentence. Like, it's just my name.
Anyways, I guess you could say we were senior year high school sweethearts, and, like, we've been together ever since, like, off and on, but mostly on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Sexual orientation. Yeah. Okay. She's straight. I'm straight. But before I started my transition, it was known that I've always been attracted to females, to women. I had a lot of boyfriends, you know, I kissed boys, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've had man crushes, but I've never been sexually attracted to a man. It's always been girls. Girls are just...
Oh, God.
Girls are just girls, you know what I'm saying? So now I am straight.
What do you mean now? You've always been straight.
Like, from everyone else's point of view, now I'm straight, because now I'm technically male. But beforehand, it would have looked like we were a lesbian couple.
Yeah, which is, like, a huge thing for me. Because, I mean, like, I've always told him, like, to all my friends and, like, all my friends that know me and, like, know a lot more than, like, what we're probably saying right now. I mean, if you're not in our shoes, I know it's, like, really hard. Or if you're not, like, me or, like, in my mind, like, the way that I think. Like, even before all of this started, I always told him from the get-go that, like, I never called him my girlfriend.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
not
yeah.
because, like, I mean, if it was that big of a deal for him to have me call him that, then I think eventually I would have.
And I didn't want you to call me that.
But I never felt that way. Like, I've never been attracted to girls in any way, like, whatsoever. Like, yeah, like, girls can think other girls are pretty and stuff like that, but I've never had a thing, fling, or boom, bada, bing, or anything like that, or whatever you want to call it, with a girl. So, I mean, it started off really early on as, you're my girl boyfriend.
Yeah, like she said, I was her girl boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've never been, not attracted to anything like that, so.
So, to answer your question, our sexual orientation, we are
straight.
Heterosexual. Straight.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see, what's your next question? Were our parents, yeah, okay. Were our parents accepting of our relationship? I guess you can talk about your parents later. I'm trying to think. I came out to my mom as bisexual like 3 years ago, but that was just a save face. Like I didn't want to say all the way, like, because at the time I didn't tell her I was trans.
Well, you didn't know.
Because I didn't know what was going on with me, and she had already seen us together like all the time, and it just finally came to a point where, like, yeah, Mom, we're together, like I'm bi, like that's what I told her. So she was like, she didn't agree with the situation, and what'd she say? It was like between me and God, and like she knows that I know that it's not right, but she still loved me, and like that was pretty much it. She was always supportive, but she was just off and on with how she dealt with us as far as her actions and her words. Like, one day she would be really nice, and the next thing you know, she'd be making really rude comments to both of us or to one of us, and it was a really rocky road for a couple years until I told her that I was trans, and then she kind of didn't understand it, and I didn't fully understand it either, but I just knew how I felt, and I knew that I wanted things to be okay between all three of us, and it kind of got worse from there. But now things are better, so I guess I can say now my mom is really okay with our relationship. She's really supportive now. She's trying her best to use the right pronouns and stuff.
Like, it's a process, like, just rereading the question, like, it's a process for them as much as it is for us and anyone else.
Rox!
Like,
Sorry.
I don't think the question should be,
Rox,
were they accepting it? Are they? I think it should be like,
Come here.
Are they still accepting? Like, how they're still accepting. Like, they might be more accepting in different ways for a very long time. Like, it's just going to be a process.
Yeah, sorry. She was getting into something over there. Alright. Alright, here's one for me. Was I forced to resign from the women's basketball team once I began my transition? As you all know, I went to Georgia Southern on a women's basketball scholarship. Was it my sophomore year? The end of my sophomore year. Or at the beginning of my junior year, I got medically
It was the middle of your junior year.
The middle of my junior year, I got medically disqualified from the women's basketball team in all contact sports because I had multiple concussions. So I wasn't allowed to do any more contact sports for Georgia Southern. So I then switched over to the women's track team, and I competed with them for a semester, and I believe it was last October or November, around that time, and I didn't finish out the season. I talked to the head of athletics, the woman head of athletics, and I told her I can't compete anymore. I just don't feel comfortable being on a women's team, competing with women. I want to go ahead and start taking hormones so I can transition for psychological health reasons, and it was okay. I didn't compete anymore, but they kept me on the scholarship, so I wasn't forced to resign from the women's basketball team. I was just medically disqualified, and then on my own I chose to stop competing altogether so that I could start taking hormones. Alright, let's see. Where do I get my suits? Thank you to whoever asked me that question. They gave me a compliment on that too. Thank you very much. You'd be very surprised. I actually get the majority of my ties from Goodwill. I'm not going to give you all my secrets, but the majority of my ties, I get them from Goodwill. I've gotten a couple sports coats from Goodwill. But honestly, I just try everything on to make sure that it fits the way I want it to. And what I mean by that is I don't want anything, even regular clothes, I don't want it to show my chest. I bind, that's what some trans men do, they bind, they make their chest flat so that
But you don't even really have to, like...
It's to help with the dysphoria. So when I try all of my suits, I make sure that my chest looks invisible pretty much because I can't stand to see it like that. And pants and stuff, where do I get those from? They either come with the suit or I'll go to Walmart and get khakis or something. Like, you really have to look around and...
Like, if you have the time and the patience to go bargain hunting, like, I mean, it's kind of annoying having to, like, search through so much stuff, but if you go, like, as much as we do, we know, like, where to go, what to look for, and that is really nice.
Yeah. You don't have to spend a fortune to look good.
Yeah.
Alright, next question. At what point did I know that I was going to have a sex change? I actually didn't think about surgeries of any kind. It kind of progressed. I was more worried about starting T around my junior year, and then it got to having really, really, really bad chest dysphoria. And just dysphoria about my whole body in general, the shape of it, the way my voice sounded, my face, my hair. Like, I couldn't stand to look at myself in the mirror or hear myself talk. It got so bad to the point where I wouldn't, like, leave the house, and I would go out and drink, and it was just really bad times. So yeah, but it got better. So I guess I decided around my junior year that I wanted to go ahead and start transitioning, I guess.
The right way. Like, starting it the right way. Taking the right steps. Like, seeing somebody.
But then the more and more time went on, the more I wanted to have chest surgery. I'm really considering it now. Like, I already found a doctor. I just need to, call and ask questions about the whole process and stuff. I'm saving up money now to get the surgery. As far as bottom surgery goes, as far as taking stuff out, attaching stuff, whatever, I haven't really decided that I actually want to have that anytime in the future. 1, because of technology. 2, because of money. And 3, because I don't know, I'm kind of scared, to be honest. But yeah, there's the answer to that. In my research, have I run across anyone who had the change but later regretted it? I don't know anyone personally that has regretted transitioning at all. I think being able to transition and to feel more comfortable with your body is the best thing that could ever happen to you. So if there was anyone that regretted it, it probably wasn't what they really, really wanted to do. I don't know.
Or they might have had like outside influences.
Yeah. Or somebody pressured them into doing it, maybe, I don't know. I've seen guys that have stopped taking testosterone after a certain point because they're comfortable with where their body was at that point, and like they'll stop taking it after a year because they got the changes that they wanted, so they just stopped taking it. Because a lot of changes are irreversible, so they just stop taking it. I don't think that's regretting it. I think that's just where you're comfortable at, so that's where you're gonna stop. But I don't know anybody personally that has regretted it.
Or even people that are in relationships that their partners or whoever they're with, like, I mean, might make their partner feel more comfortable if they were a certain way.
Yeah.
And, like, even for me, I mean, I don't know if it's ever crossed your mind, but it's never made me feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, like the way that he already is now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I feel like it can go, like, either way. I mean, I've always told him, you know, I love him the way that he is, and I mean that, like, in every way.
Yeah, God, this video is super long. It's like 21 minutes. Sorry, guys. Alright, we only have 1, 2, 3, and then your question. Go ahead and answer your question, and then...
Okay, how do I feel about the transition? Well, my first reaction, like, when I hear that is, I mean, not to downplay anything, but it's kind of like, what transition? I mean, for me, like, for him, it's more of a physical thing. Like, I know in every way it's gonna change him to a certain extent, but just the way I've always felt, I mean, he's still the same. So it's just anything else that's changing is just gonna be what I see on the outside. So I don't know. I guess now, like, the physical and the outside, like what y'all are gonna see and what everyone else sees, is gonna match like what I've always felt like all along as well. Like what I've always seen. Like when everyone else was still seeing a girl, like I was seeing like a guy. Like for me. I know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited.
You excited?
I love it. I love.
Yeah. Alright. Alright, look. Let's get through this pretty fast. Do I have any concerns that I may one day regret it? Absolutely not. Except for the question of whether I'm going to go to heaven or hell because of the decisions that I took into my hands to change my own body. That can only be answered when I die, wherever I end up. Hopefully I'm going to heaven. Like that's what I want, but that would be the only concern. That played a major part actually in my decision and in my discovery and finding myself, that my religious beliefs really held me back for a while on starting this transition. All right. At what age did I decide to start transitioning? How old was I when I was a sophomore? 19? 20? 20-ish? Yeah. Alright. This is pretty much it. And the last question, this is my favorite question.
It's your favorite?
Because it's so...
If you know him, what the question is, you would think he would walk out of the video. So,
yeah, the last question. When is the wedding?
There's nothing there, people.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll stop right there.